So we are back, and we're not quite done with this image, or this setup rather, because when I photographed it, we've shot it for two versions in mind. One where the girl came walking towards us in the river, and the second is the one that we just finished retouching with the car and the smoke. So we're not going to start over. This is going to be really quite quick, as I'm going to base the second version on this version right here. So I'm going to show you real quick what we're planning on doing. So we're going to bring up our palettes here, and let me just turn off a lot of this stuff. And I'm just going to walk down here and just get a lot of this stuff away. All right, so now that we have the background plate, which we've worked with, kind of cleaned up, we're going to prepare this file to use it so that we can put a woman walking in the foreground. As I was on this location, there was a lot of beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places, but it almost became too pretty. So we have these two pictures here, and I love the foreground rocks, but the background wasn't that. It's beautiful, it's stunning, but it didn't have sort of that vibe of intimate in the forest bushes kind of thing. So what we're going to do is to combine this. We're going to lay this in the foreground. I'm going to put it in the foreground here, and then we will create room for this woman to come walking towards the camera. And that way you will have two opportunities to create a good picture out of this. If you don't want to do the car, or if you don't want to do a bike crashing, or if you don't want to do something similar to what I did, then it's fun to photograph something where you have a woman walking towards the camera. So let me just open this file for you real quick. We're going to come in here and we're going to open, and let me see if we can find this JPEG. Let me see, here is our crash series. So this image here, I have a smoke dot here, but this is essentially the same photograph as this. So we're going to create this foreground piece here using this background and put these in front, and we're going to end up with something that's similar to this. Then you have two opportunities to create a storytelling image in these two here, larger landscape composites. If you go the length of getting a car, rent a smoke machine. They're not all that much, maybe $30, $40 a day, and they create massive atmosphere. I love these pictures and what that did. So if you want to create something similar, expand your story from one hero picture, ask yourself what goes on before, what goes on after, and create that journey, so to speak. You know, not just one picture, but expand the series. A little bit of an assignment right there. We're going to talk more about that after this. So let's get into it real quick. All right, so we're going to take this here. We're going to come into this massive file we have here. I think we're just going to delete all this stuff. I'm going to select all this and just come in and just take it away. You can actually take these away as well. There. And what we have is really our background plate. The water is replaced, and that's it. You know, you do have some highlights, which you see here, which is kind of fun. We could use those still. There's some contrast, there's some density, but I think we'll leave all this alone for now. We're gonna put these top layers on. Our crop is a little different, but that's gonna change pretty quickly here. We're gonna go image, canvas size, and we're gonna expand this picture downwards so that we can make room for these beautiful rocks. You're gonna call this for 19. Allow us a lot of more space. We won't probably use all that, but this grain layer now has to go. We can increase it a little bit maybe, but it might be easier to make it over again. I'm gonna just zoom in on that. Don't wanna, still pretty decent. And then it's actually maybe look more like film now that I expanded it. So not a bad idea. Maybe I learned something there. So cool, I did actually. I'm gonna take our crop and we're gonna expand it, maybe down to here. I'm gonna come above this left side river and this picture number 1. So pretty. Take that away, and picture number 2. And these are pretty close, these two layers here, so I'm gonna take it down here. Nice. I think maybe, let me see. We'll start with the right side because it's more important. I'm gonna get rid of all this. And then we're gonna line up the water line right about there. Again, it's important to sort of just look about where the horizon are so that we can blend things together. I'm cheating it a little bit now. If Photoshop could just cooperate with me in leaving this file down in here. Yeah. So I started out by lining up the water's edge. So let me see. We have one water's edge right here, and on this we have it right here. So they're a little bit off. I should really have been up here to line these up, but we could cheat it a tiny bit. It'll allow us a little bit more foreground space for our woman to walk in. So we're going to come into our curves and again continue the same process. We're going to blend by density, we're going to blend by contrast. I'm going to pull this down a tiny bit. And I'd like that darkness that I just created, so why don't I just put this contrast layer on, soften the contrast a little bit for this picture. There. And then we're going to add our left side. Put this on top here. Let me see. I'm going to create a folder. And since these are the same, I'm going to ungroup this. And then we're going to come to our group and call it normal. That way this layer affects what's in this folder, those two layers only. So let's see. I'm going to put this on top. And then I'm just going to start bleeding some of this out of here. We definitely don't need the forest. So we can just going to do this. There. Now, when you get these files and you work on this yourself, maybe you like this background better without these trees. It's just my aesthetic in this, where I like sort of this, for this picture anyway, this moodiness, this more mystical forest, not so pretty. Now, if your picture is a beautiful woman walking there and there's a dress maybe that's a little long and it's more poetic. Wow, one picture that comes to mind are those sirens that's in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? We are going to retouch the train card image, and that's kind of based on that image a little bit, or that movie rather. And in that movie is another scene where you have those sirens and they're dancing and they're washing the clothes and they get all intoxicated by these women. And that's a more pretty scene. So if you want to do that, then please be my guest. Use these files as you want and create something that you feel better about. For me, I'm just going to take these out and just make this forest more mystical and sort of keep these pieces or the background as it is. So I got talking there and got a little distracted, but I'm going to get these pieces in here. Cool. Take that rock away. Then maybe there's a way to blend. Oh, nice. Nice. There's a way to just blend this in right in here somewhere. Cool. Oh, I'll just keep on going now. Oh, nice. That's how far I'm going to take it. That's kind of nice. When you saw me retouch the other file, I thought I would give that as an assignment, but I'm going to spill the beans right here. I did not mask this outright. It just looked terrible. So, I got all into it and I left just a straight cut up right in here. And you will see that when you retouch it, but I caught it right after I was done and I fixed it up for my file. So when you follow my retouch, pay attention to this area right in here. That was one layer that I did not go and finish up. And if I'd done my due diligence by walking through the picture pixel for pixel, I often start in one corner and I just go all through the pictures like this. I scan, I scan, I scan, I scan. Then I'm going to notice this right away. So when you get into the habit of retouching your pictures, you have to make sure to give it a second look. As I mentioned, come back to it. I print it out, I look at it. It's a mistake that I would have caught, but you know, you're gonna see me leaving this area right here alone for you guys to notice. So I feel that's kind of nice. This blends pretty nicely as well. And I'll just come in here, make sure that we don't have this line right down here at the bottom. So we select that and we fill that with black. We're gonna raise our crop up. There's a lot of rocks here, so maybe, I mean, we could do it here, but maybe right in here is a better feel for this photograph. Again, we're going to try to soften up some of these spaces, make them a little darker. Again, it's about having the eye go to the places where we want it to go. I love these highlights in here, just beautiful, but this here feels a little too bright. So again, come in here, quick mask tool, select our brush, I paint it on, I exit the quick mask, we get a mask, we invert that, and now I'm ready to create a curve right here. And I'm just going to push this down, and you can see the tension goes away from this area, and now we could put a beautiful woman right about here. So it's a little bit of masking that we need to do here so that we can have the sensation of these leaves falling above the river. So this will be the same process as we masked out for the car. We're just going to create a mask in this group, and then I'm just going to have this fall over. You see, I'll just turn them off for now. I don't want it to come all the way down. This is too much, but maybe there's a nice line right in here so that we could use these leaves without it looking awkward that we're excluding the stuff underneath. Again, I'm going to do this rough so I could see, and then maybe we use the color picker or our color range afterwards. Cool. So here we are. That's kind of where it was anyway. So let me see. I'm going to just go Command-Shift-I. I'm going to do the mask the other way. We're going to hide it. And since I'd already kind of done this, just rough, let me see. I've got to come down in here and let this here. So I made a soft bleed here. So now what I did was to come in here and erase this to make sure that I have the information I want underneath. And then we can come up in here and we can invert our selection and then hide it. You don't have to hide it, but I'd like to. Then I can come in here and then mask out the leaves that we want to. So now we have the sensation of the leaves sort of falling over into this area. Obviously not well masked out, and there's a little area in here. So I'm just going to come in. Just turn this off for now. Come into, let's just use the magic wand. I think this will go quite well. I'm going to come down and use this at 11. I'm going to deselect it and try it again. Some of these leaves are darker green, so we don't want to spill into them too much. Okay. Feather. 0.6 is nice. We hide it. Turn this on. Then we can actually come in here and we can just, let me see, erase some of this here so we could see through it. See, what have happened now is that I created a mask up here so we don't really quite see through it. So let me see, let's just undo this for now. Now I start to see through. I'm not sure if I like it though. Got confusing, didn't it? now that I see through to what's underneath here, it got confusing. So now that I realized it's not about masking this, it's actually about making these leaves stand out, I'm going to undo this, leave this masking, but then I'm going to make the layer here darker underneath as if it casts a shadow. Again, try to blend by opening the blacks up, by taking them away. That didn't quite work. So now we blend the other way. So to make this darker again, quick mask, brush, and a soft brush that will give us a gradient, and just darken these areas here. These rocks, they will bleed in front of this shadow, so you don't want to do those as much as what's underneath. So Command-Shift-I in here, and we just darken that. And now we kind of want to come in here. Let me just see what we got here. Yeah, we want to come in and just open this up a bit. Right in here, make it a little softer. Nice. I'm going to let you finish that. I'm going to let you fine tune it. You've seen me cutting out leaves in the previous background. So just want to give you one more option to work with this. Here we are. I'm going to turn these on. So there it is. This is our second background. I feel this is really quite lovely. I would fine tune it a little bit. Maybe the hue saturation doesn't work as well for this round. Maybe I would come up here and just sort of play with it a little bit. There, maybe. That feels really quite good to me. A little too blue down here. Probably come in here with a curve to start. Give it a little bit more green tone. There. And that is it for this background. I'm going to give you these files so you can play with both. You could use this foreground. You could use the whole plate if you want to. I think that could be quite lovely as well. And let's just look at that for a minute. And disable that layer mask and disable that layer mask. And there is pretty much this background, and you could use just that if you want. Obviously you got to blend these layers right here a little bit better, but you know, it's quite a beautiful option. So there it is. Second option. Thank you for following me along for this really quick second background build. These files will be on the disk so you can work with both of these, and we're going to get back to you now with the assignment.